All right. Neil Carlson here with North Dakota Senator John Hoeven. I did a little poll a while ago. You got a lot of North Dakotans, a lot of people across America who are concerned about the way President Trump, Elon Musk, and DOGE are going about cutting thousands of people. The last I remember from my government classes is that Congress controls the spending and funding of all these agencies. Are you worried about all this?
Well, what DOGE is going through is trying to identify waste, fraud, and abuse, but ultimately it's up to the different agencies and the cabinet secretaries then to make decisions about personnel. How do we make them as productive as possible? Make sure that, that the folks are coming into work, doing a good job for the citizens. But ultimately, even though DOGE identifies some of those savings and changes in personnel, the cabinet agencies will make the ultimate decisions. And then, as you say, beyond that, it has to be within the confines that's set up by Congress and the laws that we pass.
Well, a couple things. There's already many documented cases where they went in and cut people, and whoops, we got to go hire them back. People who watch the nukes and so on and so forth. There's a big list.
In any transition, there's going to be some disruption, but I've not only met with DOGE, I've met with White House officials, I've met with cabinet agency heads and cabinet secretaries and all that. And so, as DOGE identifies these savings, there's going to be some disruption in the process, but that's why I am pointing out that ultimately those agencies will make those decisions. And just as you've identified in some cases where maybe somebody was let go that should have been, some of those adjustments are already being put in place. And we work on it too. I mean, I've worked through USDA, through ARS and some of the ag researchers, with the veterans, and our VA hospital, for example. So, this is going to be a process, and obviously we get input from our constituents. We respond to it. We go back to the agency. We go back to the White House. We go back to DOGE and sort that out. So it's done in a way where, yes, we get on top of waste, fraud, and abuse, but we also make sure that the folks that we need in these positions are there, that they have good updated systems to use, and they provide the best possible service to the citizens of America.
Fair to say you've been a proponent, a backer of veterans and services and so
Absolutely.
on. But thousands and thousands of jobs have now been cut. And while Trump or Musk there's quotes of them saying, well, benefits won't be cut. But when you cut all the people in those hospitals, clinics, they can't provide the benefits, the services that are needed.
Well, again, DOGE has identified savings and so forth, and in some cases, those will be realized. And for folks that aren't coming into work, and in some places where you don't need them or you need them in different places, those adjustments will be made. But as I've said, that is going to be sorted out as the agency heads get in place, get their people in place, and go to work and make sure that they have people in the right places and where they need them. And so, again, it's a process, and it's going to take some time to work through it.
Just a couple more things
Sure.
here. Thousands of people gone from Social Security. The last Social Security director was just a national interview with him saying there's a problem that payments are going to start not showing up, so on and so forth, because many of the IT guys were let go too to run in this old COBOL system. Services could be cut as field offices close. Are you worried that there's going to be any disruption with that? What is there? 1 in 5 Americans now get Social Security?
Remember, as part of this, there's been an early retirement or buyout offered to employees that want to take it. And also, there's a big effort to upgrade systems. You talked about old computer systems and those kind of things. So sure, part of it is, finding waste, fraud, and abuse, but the other part is making sure that the people and the systems and the processes are more productive, just like any business would do. And ultimately, you've got to serve the citizens of this country and follow the law. Every single one of these changes that comes out, they always start with, okay, what is allowed within the law, and then what are good changes? But ultimately, it's not just about finding savings, it's about better productivity, getting people into better jobs, and doing a better job of serving the public. All those things go together. Just like when you run a business, you always have to assess and try to accomplish those things.
Do you talk with DOGE?
I've talked to Elon Musk, and I've met with DOGE. I met not this past week, but the week before. I was probably with him for an hour, and prior week, an hour before that. And a lot of the conversation centers on how do we make the systems, the computer systems, and all these things more effective? Where do we find savings? And how do we make the people more productive and more responsive to the American citizens?
Can you assure North Dakotans, folks around the country, their Social Security payments, Medicaid, which funds nursing homes, hospitals all across North Dakota, those aren't going to be disrupted?
The president has said very clearly that he's going to protect Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. It's about finding savings where there's waste, fraud, and abuse, and making systems work better. And I'm working on this all the time. I represent North Dakota. As you said just a minute ago, whether it's our veterans or our farmers or North Dakotans, whatever walk of life they're in, I work very hard to represent them and make sure they're well and fairly treated, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Last thing, when you look at the cuts that are being made to these agencies, so on and so forth, it's a very small sliver of the total budget. It's the Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, that's what makes up most of it to actually make any major cuts with the system. So why is the Republican Party then looking for more tax cuts for people that already have billions? Couldn't they pay their fair share?
Remember, the way you get to a balanced budget and the way you reduce the deficit is you find savings where you can, but ultimately you grow the economy, you have a bigger, stronger economy, people have better jobs, they get better paid. That also generates more revenue, not from higher tax, but from a bigger economic base. And it's the combination of finding savings where you can that work and that make sense, and growing the economy and revenue from growth, not higher taxes. That's how, when I was governor, that's how, North Dakota's really growing. Look, we're now a growing state we're one of the youngest populations. We've reduced taxes, but we have bigger budget surpluses while providing more services. That's a lot different than when I showed up in 2000. We've come a long ways. And so I've worked to take that same philosophy that I had as governor to the federal government. Ultimately, I think that is the secret of success, is a growing economy, savings where you can, treat people well, have good services, and we're trying to put all of those things together.
Sounds like you're talking trickle down.
No, to me, that's absolutely bottoms up. When you talk about people having better jobs, that's better for everybody, and that's growth from the bottom up. And when I'll go back to when I was governor. When I started, we were losing population. There were no good jobs. People were going everywhere. They were going to Denver. They were going to Minneapolis. They were going to Texas. They were going to California. Sure, energy's a part of it, but look what we've done in value-added agriculture. Look at what we've done in technology. Look at what we've done with military and all these different things. You create that growing economy, right? That's from the ground up. That benefits every single American.
All right. I know she wants to go here. Tariffs, last thing. What do you think that's going to do to ag here?
Well, just like we're talking about, in the short term, yeah, I get that there's disruption, but remember the long-term goal. It's to make sure that other countries treat our farmers, ranchers, producers, manufacturers fairly. They're not being treated fairly now. We're trying to get better terms for them.
Yeah.
And that's important. We want to grow the crops and raise the animals and produce things here and manufacture things here, and we need fair treatment in these trade markets. Free and fair trade, reciprocity. That's what ultimately we need to grow our economy, benefit our farmers and ranchers.
So you're on board with President Trump and DOGE and Elon Musk?
Well, I'm on. Yes, in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. Do I understand there's disruptions in the short term? Right, but look at the long-term goal. It's to strengthen America, and that benefits all of us.
Okay, all right, thanks for talking.
Yeah, thanks.
It's been a while.